Welcome to this edition of Ed-Detective, solving common classroom cases with technology. Today's mystery is solving the case of the flipped classroom that flopped. I teach most of my classes now as these flipped classrooms, where outside of class, students perform collaborative work, they have Zoom sessions with me, they watch pre-lecture mini videos that I've created to provide the content to them. And so with this tailored approach, during class, I use Explain Everything as a digital whiteboard to answer student questions. They perform activities as PDF files that I distribute and collect through Google Classroom. And most importantly, this is an opportunity for the students to get questions answered. So question asking is a critical part of the flipped classroom experience, and students need to bring questions to class for the during class or inside of class portion for this to be effective. A major problem that I have in a lot of my classes, and I know most of you share this issue with me, is getting students to ask questions during class, and this is particularly critical for flipped classes because the class only works if students come to class with questions about how to apply content they've learned and how to solve problems. I had a suspicion that part of the problem might have been that I was coming to class, even though this is a flipped class, with lecture slides prepared in advance. And although these lecture slides were not lecture slides per se, because they were not slides that I lectured from, they were a collection of resources that I suspected students would probably be asking questions about. These were often, for example, as shown here, screenshots of questions and exercises I had asked students to prepare for discussion during class. I had a suspicion that maybe an issue with getting students to ask questions during class was that they would see in advance how many lecture slides I had prepared, and maybe that was preventing them from wanting to ask questions because maybe they had this notion that I needed to make sure that I covered all of the slides. One way that I avoid preparing lectures in advance is by using Explain Everything to create dynamic lectures with content added on the fly, as I'll show you now. Now, to prepare for class, I open Explain Everything, I create a new project, and what I'm going to do is populate this project on the fly during class in a dynamic fashion by adding files. And sometimes I'll add files that contain student work. This is a bonus because they can see me give them anonymous feedback. Their name is not attached to this submission of work that they've sent me, but I can give them feedback on whether or not they understand this concept of performing chromosomal rearrangements. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll tune in for the next adventure of the Ed-Detective.